Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman.
All right. Greetings. So now I have this thing that I'm going to present. Probably, I've seen these. It's probably the best video. I hope it will be the best video about giants. This will be the best video about giants you have ever seen and may ever see, because I found some really good stuff, and I'm going to present it to you and explain to you why I know that there were huge giants around in the past. And so I'll start off with how I bring this up. Originally how I brought it up, I noticed like doorways and steps were big, and I had referenced with the scriptures about it and saw writings by Josephus about giants. And so I started talking about how, these buildings were built for giants, and they're left over from a previous time when there were giants living all over the place. And I didn't know if they're antediluvian or post-diluvian or both. But clearly, I think there were. And people said, "Oh, UAP, you're so dumb. Those aren't steps, you know. They're just, the doorways were made for ambiance and to show the imperial character of the buildings and all this." Okay, all right. But it's not just that. You know, I thought, well, if there were giants, then there would be other things that would be built for giants that wouldn't make sense for us, like railings being too high. And so I looked for railings that were too high, and I found that. And they say, "Oh, well, they're high up, and because they're high up, they make them really high, so then it looks more proportional from the ground, and you don't know what you're talking about. You're stupid." Okay, well, all right. Maybe they did. That I don't deny that would be possible, but I thought, well, then there would be giant utensils, bowls, things like that, and I find that's just art. You don't know what you're talking about. All right, well, then I find these, the huge doorways in the buildings. That's just so they can bring things in from outside, and you're stupid. Shut up. Well, okay. But I looked around. Okay, there are doors on the outside. Granted, the big doors are on the outside. That makes sense. We have that today. They're like garage doors. They're total junk that we make today compared to back then in almost every single case. So I looked on interior doors, and I found stuff where the doors were covered up. And then, well, that's just interior decorating, and it's just for art and to hang artwork and to have seating and for sound, and you don't know what you're talking about, and you're stupid, and giants aren't real, and you are stupid, and you are a real idiot, but giants aren't real. All right. So what about the stories? So I look around for drawings and stories about giants, and those are just drawings, and they're myths, and they're children's books, and you have the brain of a child because you just don't know how to reason and just grow up, UAP. Okay, well, so then I went and I looked for non-childlike drawings with a more serious nature, specifically of people going through doorways in the insides of these buildings, where on the insides the doorways are much too large and have not yet been covered up or filled in or had the threshold lowered. And I found that. And then people say, well, that's just a religious drawing, and just because, and people are stupid, and that's why they're religious, and you're stupid. Okay. It's crazy to think that there could be giants. You're crazy, and you're a crazy religious nut. And who cares what the Bible says? And who cares what you say? Because you're stupid. Well, okay. Well, a lot of people care what I say, actually. So then I looked for, well, if there were buildings with giant doors in the interiors, then there should be also giant furniture and appointments, for them that would have remained intact somewhere. And I found this, like these giant mirrors and these paintings that are up really high, where from our height you can't really even enjoy the painting. It's like way too high, and the mirror, especially when you consider the angles, the mirror only needs to be as high as the tallest person is tall. Really makes no sense, not much sense to have the mirror be higher. Oh, the mirror's just high enough to fill the space that they already had, and it's just because the ceiling's already high, the mirror's high. the ceiling's not high because of giants, because you're on drugs and you're high, UAP. You are stupid and high and on drugs. Okay, all right. So I looked for more furniture and different things like that would be inside one of these buildings, that if the building hasn't already been destroyed, if it hasn't been completely gutted on the inside or burned, then if the furniture and things would have remained in place long enough for somebody to have taken a picture before it all got ruined and destroyed and burned, it'd practically be a miracle. But I found it. Here it is. A giant bed. Huge, huge bed with huge steps going up to it. I mean, how would you explain that other than there having been a giant there that slept in the giant bed? Well, it's just a piece of furniture. We have not seen any giants. You can't show me a picture of a giant because you're stupid, and somebody probably built that bed as a joke, and they make giant things all the time. It's just a novelty, and you don't understand novelties because you're stupid, and you don't know what not to believe, and you don't know how to just follow the official narrative, and everything's a temple or a tomb, and it wasn't lived in, and it wasn't used except by dead people and religious nuts. But they're going away, and you're going away, UAP, because you're a religious nut and you're stupid. All right, well, so I looked for pictures of giants. Well, pictures, even if you would find pictures, you can't find evidence of, like, the giants having been around. There's no bones or anything. You say that the Smithsonian stole them all. How could the Smithsonian have stolen all of them? Somebody stole your brain, UAP, because you're stupid.